From guarding birth control to leading at Disney, from bankruptcy to scrubbing carpets, to now helping entrepreneurs create unforgettable client experiences. Today's guest is a master of transformation. Vance has lived the entrepreneurial roller coaster and earned the wisdom at every twist and turn. He went from factory security guard to a Disney leader, then hit rock bottom as a bankrupt executive before reinventing himself yet again as a carpet cleaner turned thriving entrepreneur. But what makes Vance truly remarkable isn't just his resilience, it's what he does for business owners like you. He helps you get, serve, and keep clients for life by transforming your marketing into meaningful, memorable experiences that demand response. If you've ever struggled to stand out in a noisy market or keep your clients coming back again and again, you're going to love this conversation. So let's see what buzzworthy insights Vance has for us today. Welcome to the show, Vance. How are you doing today?
I'm doing fantastic. Appreciate you having me.
Oh, yes. No worries. Thank you for having us, the whole audience here. I mean, you're a very busy person. I would say almost as busy, if not busier than me, which is a hard thing to do. Where are you calling in from?
I am on the eastern shore of Maryland. It's that little part of Maryland attached to Delaware.
Oh, very cool. I'm down in Richmond, Virginia. So
Too far?
Not too far. The East Coast. I'm going to be in Baltimore for Thanksgiving this year when the Cincinnati Bengals come to town to beat the Baltimore Ravens in NFL.
Yeah, let's hope so. You're gonna have you got to have sauerkraut with your turkey if you're going to be here for Thanksgiving.
Ooh, that sounds delicious. I love sauerkraut.
That is a Baltimore tradition. Sauerkraut on Thanksgiving Day. So.
Beautiful. Well, I come from a Polish family, so that's very, very common there. Here we go. Awesome. So we weren't here to talk about a sauerkraut and Thanksgiving and turkey, but we are here to talk about the leaky buckets of clients that our small business owners seem to just not want to plug in, or really just don't know how to plug it, right? And it seems that you have unlocked some of the secrets behind client retention, which I also feel might even come to client expansion. Well, we might get into that today. But first, let's talk about what is the leading cause you see of bad client retention?
It is 100% the business owner assuming that the client is going to remember them. And that is just not the case. It is not the customer's job to remember you. It's your job as the business owner to remind the customer that you exist. Now, maybe 100 years ago, when there was only one plumber in town, it was easy to remember that guy.
Mm-hmm.
But these days, with Google search and Yellow Pages are gone, but with 52 plumbers in every town, you're highly commoditized. How are you going to stand out?
Right.
So they do not focus. I ask people, do you have a marketing budget? And they'll say, oh, yes, of course, we have a marketing budget. I say, okay, great. How much do you allocate to customer retention? And they all look at me like I got three heads. So unfortunately, for the business owner, there is no conscious effort to retain customers, and they just assume that we did a good job. You should remember us.
Well, I mean, it is kind of a pompous way of looking at it, right? I mean, we feel like especially if you're a service-based business, you feel like you've made an impact. It's one thing when you have products. When you have product-based businesses, I mean, the product's in their hands, your logo's on the product. I mean, there is a little bit of difference there. But if you're doing a service, so I just had my air conditioning replaced, right? Now, we have a really good relationship with the owner because he comes to our house on a regular basis. He doesn't do all the work, but I know him by name. I know his wife by name who runs the office. And so that type of experience is very organic, and it's not something you see every day. You see that in the micro businesses, the neighborhood, like your plumber, that stuff. And, we get to see him a couple times a year to do the maintenance. It's the only reason we see him that much. My plumber, I don't even know his name.
Right.
Right. And it's because they're here, they're gone, they're happy. And now things work. And that right there just becomes, that worked. But the next time you go to need your plumber, what are you going to do? So how do we, or what are the first steps, minus the budgeting for some resources? Obviously, it's going to take some resources there, time, energy, or money, or all the above. But what are the first steps in creating a plan to stay top of mind after you've done that first service?
Sure. And I'll just, if I can piggyback on your HVAC example real quick. We had service done a year and a half ago for our heater. It didn't click on the first cold day. And this year, the AC didn't click on the first hot day. And I'm searching everywhere. I can't find an invoice. I can't find a business card. They didn't even put a magnet on the unit outside.
Oh my gosh.
And they did a great job. I mean, it was fair price. The woman that came in, she put booties on her shoes. I mean, it was a great service. 18 months later, I got no idea who the hell they were. And I had to call, I don't know if I called them or a competitor, but there was, but see, that's where it starts, is with the customer experience.
Right.
And so, obviously, if you have a bad customer experience, the likelihood of you retaining customers is pretty low.
Right.
So I had a great customer experience that should set the table for easy customer retention.
Right.
So you got to really start there. So if you do a good job turning the wrench, but you're always late and you smell like the Marlboro man who just took a shower in Axe, that's turning people off, and you're going to have a hard time getting called back.
Right.
So let's assume we fixed all that, and your experience is great. During the experience, either you or your employee hopefully have created some kind of emotional connection with the customer. And I'm not saying lovey-dovey, let's go out on a date. I'm saying, did you compliment the family picture? Did you say hi to the dog? Things like that. And once you start that, the next step after consuming the product or using the service, in my mind, you got to say thank you. How many businesses don't say thank you for your business?
Right.
I mean, thousands. So like I think I mentioned, I own some home service businesses here in Maryland. Every one of my customers gets a handwritten thank you letter for having us come out. Handwritten, envelopes handwritten, cards handwritten. And we get more comments just on that. People call us up and they're like, "But you sent me a thank you card?" And I'm like, "Yeah, that's just what we do." It's all the stuff that grandma teaches you,
Right.
So that really sets the stage, because now you're like, oh, I'm not just a transaction. There's going to be some kind of relationship here, because the only time a customer ever hears from you is when you want money. That's not a relationship. That's transaction. So the thank you card is building the relationship and create and furthering that emotional connection.
I love that. It's funny because, I think that it's not that business owners don't have the good intentions. I think that we just get busy with doing the business.
Yep.
And so we don't have a system of making that the habit. And, in my marketing firm, we're in marketing strategy. And one of the things we try to architect is that client value journey. And building value is not always about doing the service, right?
100%.
And so just a matter of making sure that the person who has the bandwidth that is in that space, even if it's just, hey, you as the owner, if you have a small business and you should be able to write the thank you letters, right? That doesn't mean you have to be the one to seal it in the envelope and put a stamp on it and make sure it gets in the mailbox either, right? And I think that people just don't realize that they have a team around them that can be part of that process, right? And so, I think that's awesome that you do a handwritten note. There's a lot of people who are trying to use these online services where it's like, okay, we got an invoice that goes in QuickBooks online that triggers this other vendor that sends them a handwritten letter, which is done by a robot, right? And we're thinking that we're fooling somebody. But if you've ever gotten one of those, it wasn't it wasn't a human, right?
And the thing is that they mail them from a zip code that you never heard of.
Right.
It's nowhere near your business. So,
right. Oh, and it has commercial postage, of course. Bulk.
Yeah,
bulk.
Of course. The one thing that I did it for a while until it got to the point where I was doing 3 hours of thank you notes every week, and I can't spend that amount of time on it. Mm-hmm. So we actually rented grandmas. We went down to the senior. We have a senior center here, and I bring the box of cards and envelopes and a truck of coffee and a dozen donuts. And the 3 grandmas sit around the table. They eat and they write cards and they talk, and they love it. I love it. So
how do you couch that on the letter? Is it coming from grandma at your company?
No, they're signing it, with their real first name, but and then with the company.
And those are all your chief morale officers.
Exactly, 100%. But it's still handwritten, and this is how I at least justify it to myself. It's still handwritten. It's still the gesture of saying thank you. I could just say, forget it. I mean, I've got an auto dealership around here I buy all of my fleet vehicles from. Sure. I probably spent $500,000 with them over the last 15 years.
Right.
Never once did I get a thank you. Not even an email.
Wow. So, yeah. No. I mean, just the gesture, I think, is there. And I mean, and if you have to do it at volume, I think that there are ways to where you could still stick out, I bet, maybe something other than a thank you letter, maybe something like a stress ball. Or something fun, right?
Yep. I'm all about sending, I don't want to call them tchotchkes, but useful tchotchkes, through the mail.
Right.
And one of the things, and you can, I mean, I've got a list of like 50 ways that you can retain customers. And one of them, and you just have to think outside the box. So here in Maryland, we have a state cake. It's called the Smith Island cake.
Okay.
And the top 5 of my customers every month get a Smith Island cake mailed to them.
Gotcha. Love it.
That's just part of the deal. I mean, they're our top spender, whoever had the biggest ticket, but we mail them a cake. Now, who mails cakes for crying out loud?
Yeah.
And to get one, you're like, well, who sent this to me? And oh, wow, the carpet clean. The mileage we get on referrals and word of mouth marketing just from the cakes is enormous. I lost my train of thought. I was going to say something profound, but
that's all right.
Oh well.
You're reminding me of when we used to. So when I had a brick and mortar in Anchorage, Alaska, for 13 years, we had a tradition. My mother, when I was a kid, always made banana nut bread for Christmas. So we would take our top 20% of our clients a loaf of banana nut bread, but we would hand deliver it. And I would usually bring somebody with me. So like one of my number 2 or my number 3, whoever's available. And that day we were just going door to door to hit our top 20. And then our top 5 clients, we would make a gift basket wrapped in or filled with the things that we knew they loved, right? So we had at the time we had a early learning center, and it was a pair of ladies that owned it. So they both got a basket of their own stuff, and we knew what kind of candies they liked and other types of tchotchkes and stuff that did not have our brand, right?
Right.
It was just useful things for them, and big cutouts that said, thanks a million for trusting us and stuff like that, right? And
Right.
it does go a long way. And it's really weird because some of the firms that we've worked for over the years, they didn't know how to take it. And I think that has a little to do with the fact that they don't think their clients, a lot of times we'll send out the rest of everybody gets the Christmas card, right? But that's just an exercise, but we would have everybody sign every one of the Christmas cards. And we had 300 clients that we would serve a year. So if you spent more than $100 with us in that year, you got a Christmas card. And so we had 25 people signing Christmas cards for a month in November so that we could have them go out at the beginning of December. We wanted to be the first one on the wall, right?
Yeah.
And go ahead.
No, I was just saying, I didn't want to talk over you. My profound thought finally came back.
There it is. I fed you back your profound thought. Here it comes.
Yeah, so it's your business has to be tellable. It has to be able to be talked about. People are going to talk about it. So you should be directing that conversation. And when I work with my clients on their customer experiences and their retention strategies, we talk the question that we want people, or the statement we want people saying is, oh my God, you'll never guess what happened when, and insert your profession there. So It's like, oh my God, you'll never guess what happened when the carpet cleaners were here today. They did this, and this. Right. That's the reaction that oh my God, they sent me a handwritten thank you note.
Right.
That's the stuff that gets, that word of mouth marketing and referral marketing really, really jamming.
I love it. Yes. I mean, it's funny. My locksmith sent me a thank you note with a key ring after he made me a bunch of keys on the spot, but he didn't give me the key rings then when I bought the keys, and got the bill and paid everything. He waited till afterwards and gave and included the key ring in the envelope, right? And I still use it.
And now it's more of a gift than it was just something he gave you at the end of the service.
Right. It wasn't an add-on or a freebie. It now became a gift, and I think everybody can use an extra key ring, right? And I think that goes to the point of it doesn't have to be elaborate. You ever read the book Giftology?
Oh yeah, great book.
And the guy in that, he was a Cutco salesman forever. So if you have never read that book, go check out Giftology. What Vance is talking about is like the next level of this right here, because Giftology is part of it is in the same realm, right? But what I liked about his story was that when he went into, was it real estate? He got into real estate after Cutco, I think. And so what he would do is he kept his Cutco resale license. And so he would order the full set of knives for a new home sale, right? And but instead of putting his name on the block, he put the family name on the block, right?
That's it. It's the ticket right there. Right?
And so every time they have this nice Cutco set, and we know Cutco sets are expensive. That's $300 to $500, I'm sure, and it's got the family name on there, and they're automatically thinking about him. Did you know that he was the number one Cutco salesman because of that? He was his own best client, and he was
You think about it. I mean, we all send, a lot of people send, branded stuff, but branded to our business. And I can tell you, and anytime that I'm entertaining in my home, I am not busting out the Acme coffee mug.
Right.
But if Acme had sent me a cutting board or a set of glasses with my initials on them, that stuff's coming out, and people say, "Oh, where'd you get that?" Oh, well, my Acme company sent it to me.
Right. We're thinking about swag for us, and we've got a fun name, Buzzworthy, right? And we can flip it and actually make it about them, but still have our brand on it. Have a mug that says, "I am Buzzworthy," right? For our Buzzworthy Strategies company, right? And then we can have it as signature, so it's not actually our logo, so it's not so blatant, right? But it still has like the O is still a little hexagon O, so there is the brand in there, but they're seeing it every time. They're getting an affirmation because they're reading it saying, I am Buzzworthy, right? And having a shirt that maybe has it on the shoulder right here that says, I am Buzzworthy, with our little icon right here that they can wear out, and it looks like they bought it from a store, right? And it's something that's usable, right? It's something they'll actually wear, because nobody's going to wear your swag unless it's personalized to them, right?
I mean, we're not Disney. Everybody wears a Mickey Mouse shirt. That's just an advertisement for going to Disney.
That's true. It's a true statement. Yes, I love that. So what type of mindset, what's the mindset blocker that is keeping people from doing what seemingly seems like just good bedside manners?
I think a lot of people have been brainwashed, business owners, into thinking that they always have to have new customers, new leads, more leads, more customers. And I'm not advocating that you don't. I mean, you do need new for growth. So here's a stat for you that I use all the time. So if you went to Disney today, right now, 80% of the people at that theme park have been there before. 20% are new. So Disney's very profitable. So, I mean, if you think about acquiring a customer, that's probably one of the most expensive things you're going to do. For me, I mean, my carpet cleaning business last month just got the reports. It's $126 to get a new customer in the front door.
Right.
My minimum fee for us to go out is $200. So if they only do the $200 cleaning, I got $74 left over to pay the technician, gas in the van, all that stuff.
Yeah, you lose
money. Not much left over for me. But the cost to retain a customer is like pennies on the dollar. It costs me $22 a year per customer to keep them.
Right.
So every time I clean for a repeat customer, I'm already $100 some odd richer because I didn't have to go out and buy another client.
Right.
So I think that, so many businesses are just, we can get you 10,000 likes for $47, and they see those ads and everything. And yes, you do need new. I would take Disney's ratio of 80-20 and apply it to any business, and you're going to be growing profitably instead of growing and having no money in your bank.